Hi, I'm Dr. Marvell, the Research Triangle High School biology teacher.
Hey, I'm Dr. Pacifica. I'm the Research Triangle biology teacher.
No, we're actually both the Research Triangle High School biology teachers.
And you're going to get pretty used to seeing both of us for your homework at night. We're going to be making videos for you to watch, and sometimes it'll be just one of us. And it might not be your teacher that you're watching, but we're both going to be collaborating a lot on the videos, so get used to both of our faces.
That's right. You'll get to know us because the school is pretty small, so there's not going to be a time where you're not going to know me or Dr. Pacifica. A little about observation. Observation, the definition, is just the act of receiving knowledge of the outside world through the senses.
So observations must be specific and accurate so that everybody can understand. An example of a poor observation is the inside of the microwave smelled weird. Now, different people have different ideas about what's weird. So a more appropriate observation would be, the inside of the microwave smelled like pizza and apple cinnamon oatmeal. I think that's weird. Somebody else might not. So you need that specific and accurate account for a good observation.
Great. So the next thing we're going to talk about is inferences. So an inference is just a conclusion that we reach on the basis of evidence and reasoning.
So going back to our microwave example, that inference is going to follow our observation. Remember, our observation was the inside of the microwave smelled like pizza and apple cinnamon oatmeal. Now, if I was the one that smelled that microwave, I might then draw an inference that my husband had pizza for dinner last night and oatmeal for breakfast this morning. That's a conclusion that I draw based on my observation.
Now we're going to take a look at a couple of Far Side comics and make some observations and inferences from them. So let's take a look at this one first. So from that cartoon, I made a couple of observations. First off, I saw that the cat's head was in the dryer. The dog was standing next to the washing machine, trying to be hidden, or maybe that might be an inference. The cat food was written on the door and the floor with arrows pointing towards the dryer. The cat has stripes. The dryer door was open. So can you take a moment and write down any other observations that you might have from this cartoon?
Now, since we all have such great senses of humor, it's really easy to draw inferences and think that they're observations. So that's why we're using these as examples, because it's something you have to be really careful with cartoons. So some inferences that we might draw from this are that the dog wrote cat food, or cat F-U-D. That seems pretty obvious, but really it's not something that we observe with our senses. It's actually an inference. Also, another inference would be that the dog wants the cat to get in the dryer, that the dog doesn't like the cat. Again, that seems obvious maybe, but definitely an inference. The cat is looking for cat food, and there's probably some other inferences that you can come up with. So take a second and write down those.
All right, now let's take a look at this Far Side comic. So when I look at that comic, I make a couple of observations. First off, I see that the sign on the door says pull. I also observe that the boy has his hand on the door. We'd like you to make 3 more observations. Write those down, and we're going to bring all of these observations and inferences to class tomorrow.
So if you're still working, you can pause the video real quick and come back when you're done writing down your 3 observations. No rush at all, and if you want to make even more than 3 observations, you're more than welcome to do that. Some inferences, or one inference that you might draw from this cartoon is that since the sign says School for the Gifted, you might infer that the boy is gifted. You might also make some more inferences based on what you see here, so go ahead and write down at least 3 more inferences, please.
It's our last comic. So if you guys could take a look at this comic And we're going to ask that you make at least 6 observations and at least 4 inferences from this comic.
Bringing this all, I mean, it's really fun to look at Far Sides and talk about Far Side cartoons, but there's application of the observations and inferences in science. So I want you to think about how are observations important in science and how are inferences important in science. They're 2 very different things, and they each hold really special roles in science. So we'd like you to write a few sentences to explain your answers to these 2 questions. Write those down below your observations and inferences that you've made on your cartoons, and bring those to class tomorrow so that we can talk about them together. Thanks a lot, and have a great night.
All right, bye-bye.